Hello, welcome. Boxing this week 78. You'll notice not again 2 weeks in a row. I'm sorry to say we don't have a knockout of the week. That is because the quality of the knockouts in recent times has been rubbish. But last week we had nothing. We will talk immediately about the event that, I'll be honest, disappointed me a little bit. Well, we had two events that disappointed me. We're going to talk about Zuffa Boxing, which Callum Walsh headline, fighting Carlos Ocampo.
Yeah,
not a massive name, notably knocked out by Errol Spence about 5 years ago, whatever it was. Callum Walsh, up and comer, he's Dana White. He's been Dana White's boy for a little while now. Pretty disappointing event. Like for the Zuffa Boxing, the first one where we're hearing all about, all we've heard for the last 2 weeks is Zuffa Boxing, and it was just a very generic boxing event, but it wasn't to the quality of Matchroom or Queensbury or these other guys that have that sort of funding.
Yeah,
it was just a bit naff. I got to be honest. No, I mean, part of it's unlucky. Like it's not. You're not always going to get knockouts, and you're not always going to get great fights. It doesn't always happen like that. But if you don't put good fighters on your show, and like really good fighters on your show, you're not going to get really good fights or really good performances. Like, don't really know what they were expecting.
I don't think, and excuse me, guys, because my energy is very low today. So I do apologize in advance. I would do my best to make you laugh, but I think both of us here are battling through it today to give you an episode. So even more reason to like, share, and flipping subscribe. But no, sorry, I'll go back to my monotone self now. Look. First event, it's not. I didn't expect too much from it. I don't expect too much from their first 10. The shows just have to improve each time. If they are on that course, then they're doing something right.
True. There is that. I mean, it's the first one. If you look at Matchroom's first event, Queensbury's first event, it's not going to be as good. But they are backed by Turkey. They are backed by Ring Magazine. I just think personally, just maybe a bit more patience. Wait till you've signed people, because nobody's going to dispute that Dana White's going to do something. So it's not like there's people going to put a contract with Zuffa and then have an issue with it and be worried about it's not going to go ahead. It's obviously going to go ahead. So, I don't know. Sorry, I got something in my eye. But all round disappointing. The fights we can't really speak about. My only thing I do want to speak about is the main event, where I think you've got Callum Walsh, who, by the way, is a really good prospect. Like, I'm not disputing that. I think he will do quite well. I don't know if he'll win a world title. Personally, I'm not sure he'll quite get to that, but he definitely end up getting in with a world title fight. Whether or not he wins, I don't know. But you put Callum Walsh, who's not the heaviest of hitters, in a fight against Carlos Ocampo, who is a veteran and knows how to survive. Then you're asking Callum Walsh to be like something really special. You're asking him to be what Errol Spence was when Errol Spence was coming up at that time, where he'd won basically every fight bar one by knockout. So, or bar two, maybe at that point. But like, it's just poor matchmaking for me. I think you're trying to set the world on fire. You're not going to do it with Ocampo.
I think he'll learn lessons. I think they will get better though, I'll be honest with you. But it's just going to take time. You can't take it seriously as anything big. Just watch it grow and see what happens. You get it?
Yeah, true. The other event that I don't want to say it was disappointing, but it was a little bit, was Matchroom's event in Las Vegas, where we saw Andy Cruz in his 7th fight take on Raymond Muratalla for the IBF World Lightweight title, and he lost. He lost that fight. I don't really know what to make of it, because there's one side of me that goes, it's his 7th fight. Raymond Muratalla is a good champion.
Yeah,
he's not being gifted anything there, Andy Cruz. So let's just let off him a little bit, give him a bit of room to grow. There's another part of me which goes, Andy Cruz is disappointing me, because I don't know if you thought this, but I did and still do. When they when Matchroom signed Andy Cruz, I thought they've got an absolute superstar. This bloke, his record is a joke. And they put a lot of money into that, getting Andy Cruz. It was a big deal at the time to get Andy Cruz on the Matchroom team. Now, well, like it's his 7th fight. So on one hand, I'm going, it's his 7th fight. They've got more fights.
Fighting for a world title.
Fighting for a world title, exactly. His 7th.
I'll be honest with you. You know, it doesn't really get me up. Pause.
No. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. VAR for that one, because I know people will pick up on that. By that, I mean, it doesn't get me out of my seat watching him fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Massive pause, though. Can I just say? But yeah, carry on. Yeah, no, I'm not really excited by him. I don't know a massive deal about him. I know he was fighting. I'm not excited to watch him fight. I'm not excited to follow his journey. That's really it, to be honest with you. I'm just saying that as a boxing fan, innit?
No, but it's true. I think, unfortunately, or maybe, I don't know, sometimes you'll see a glimpse when he's fighting and you'll go, holy shit. I remember his second fight. His first fight went 10 rounds, but it was a 10-rounder for your debut, so we'll cut him some slack on that. Second fight was a 10-rounder, and he did the guy in 3 rounds. And I remember watching that and thinking, yeah, okay, do you know what? There is something special there that can be carried into the pro game. But the longer his career has gone on, the more and more I see of him, there's attributes that are clear. Defensively, he is an absolute joke. He is a joke of a fighter. But where someone like Shakur, who we're going to talk about later, defensively is even more of a joke, but still has output going forward.
Which we saw.
Andy Cruz doesn't seem to have the balance yet. Now,
Andy Cruz couldn't even be Shakur's left shoelace. That's just you.
No, you're right. I'm more intrigued by Andy Cruz through what's happening in his career and the performances. Because last Saturday was bad. That was a bad performance. It was bad by both. It wasn't a great fight. Both were like 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Whether or not you say that's bad, I don't know. But I didn't think it for a world title fight. I thought it was naff. You sometimes get that, but with Andy Cruz, we've had that a few times. Raymond Muratalla is a good champion. Yeah.
One word to describe that fight: boring.
Yeah.
I watched maybe a quarter of it and turned it off. And that's bad, isn't it? But like, I could not care who won. And the only reason I checked afterwards is because we've got to talk about it on the weekly show.
Yeah. No,
bro, I just don't. I can't be fake and sit here and go, yeah, like amazing and all of this. Like, bro, I'm a boxing fan before anything. This is a podcast based on us being boxing fans. I don't think he'll do well in the UK because he's not going to excite people. Pause.
I don't think he's going to. I don't think people will buy tickets from outside of smaller venues for the moment.
Look at
the fight that he will sell out, because it will be a joint sale, is him and Keyshawn Davis.
And Keyshawn Davis will sell 95% of the tickets.
Yeah, but their storyline will do a lot as well. Look, Andy Cruz will come back, and there is a level of excitement still in me to see him, and that comes from the amateurs. As a pro, I've not really, like I say, there's glimpses with him where you go, oh shit, this guy's special. But the next round, he's not the same. Something changes. I don't know what. Makhmudov returned on the undercard and got his first win for a little while. In fairness, that's because he's had back-to-back, horrible fights with Crawford and then Virgil Ortiz Jr. So both, and by the way, both very close fights. So although he's got 2 losses, Makhmudov is very underrated. Israel Makhmudov. You lose to Terence Crawford and Virgil Ortiz Jr. in close fights. Fights. And people seem to forget about you. He's going to be back, and I think worried for whatever he
there's not a lot of people that beat him. And if you do beat him, you're cream of the crop top.
Yeah. Massively, yeah.
I think he beats a lot of, boy, like you say, Virgil Ortiz, great fighter. Judge Terence Crawford, no more needs to be said. And you know, they're not two losses to be ashamed of, to be honest with you. And I like his style of boxing, and he's actually fun to watch, as mad as it sounds.
Yeah,
because the fights can be gruesome and they can be a boxing match, but I really enjoy the skill level and effort that he puts into his fights, even against Crawford and Ortiz.
He's an exceptional. He is really good to watch. And I'm glad he's back in the winning column. He basically won every round against Luis Salazar. Salazar, a 20-1 fighter, by the way. 20 wins, 1 loss. Not the best record, I will be honest, but it's a bloke who's won his last 5. He's on a hot streak and he's only lost once. And Makhmudov did every round over him, or near enough every round over him. So. Other than that, Zaquin Moses and Amari Jones both carrying on their sort of prospective careers with good wins on the undercard. That was a good card, but it wasn't. Khalil Cole won as well, but I'll be honest with you, that was a bad fight. From overweight on the way into to points being deducted. Overall, not a great weekend for boxing, but Raymond Muratalla winning does make it interesting to see whether or not maybe him and Shakur will throw down, or which, in all honesty, a bit pointless. We know what will happen, but Shakur, the more of these undefeated champions Shakur beats and picks up, the more of a sort of legend, and the further he just pushes himself into that category. Yeah. So I'm not complaining. Now, speaking of Shakur, Joe, I'm going to mix it up. We're not going to do that segue. We're going to talk about Tyson Fury. We're just going to bounce around here. We're not going to
pause.
Yeah, I said
massive one, that, isn't it?
Yeah, didn't like that one.
Bounce around.
Yeah, it's not even funny, that one. That was actually that's my bad. I hold my hands up. Oh, nothing. Tyson Fury's back.
Tyson Fury. Yeah. Back again, man. Bipolar. He's back again.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not taking the mick when I say that. I'm saying he has stated he's got bipolar.
Yeah.
And outside looking in, I would suggest that those conditions he have affects his everyday decisions. Definitely. So when man really says I'm retiring, he means it. He just might wake up tomorrow and say I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the honest truth.
And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if in a week's time Fury turns around and he's not bothering. Like,
in 2 weeks he could be doing Muay Thai.
He's returning. No rules. Haven't seen. I'm imagining everyone has seen this, but who hasn't seen it, on Netflix in association with Ring Magazine, the second event that the two have paired on against Arslanbek Makhmudov. Makhmudov, the guy that lost to Ajit Kabayel a few years ago, recently beat Dave Allen in Sheffield. So April 11th, Tyson Fury returns. The obvious first question is, do we care? But realistically, yes, we do. We obviously do. When it comes to Fury, I think it makes the heavyweight division more interesting. Obviously, not sure about what's going on with AJ, but there is a level of sort of, okay, they're both, for face value, they are both back. Obviously, AJ is a different situation altogether. And Tyson, by the way, I do want to say very respectfully, when announcing the other day that he was coming back before the official announcement, did say, out of respect, he's not even going to mention Anthony Joshua's name.
Class.
Just in this time more.
So, you know what it is, though? He's quite, you know, I can only respect this, even myself, with me getting closer to God and everything. He's a very religious man.
Yeah.
And that really does show throughout his family, regardless of the beef that they may have with people. I think when life hits, it just shows that all this boxing stuff is a big dramatic. Like, it's not real. It's a matrix.
Yeah.
It's a sport. People act, you know, but there's no real ill feeling towards anyone you fight. I think if you've got real ill feeling to do something to someone's health, that has implications to hurt them for the rest of their life. But mentally, I think there's something wrong with you and you shouldn't be boxing. You know, at the end of the day, I think the question he's getting asked by everyone is he going to fight Joshua this year? From Fury's point of view, how can you talk about a man who's still mourning? He hasn't come out and said that he's training again. He hasn't come out and said anything really. He's just been little posts here with family and stuff. What Eddie Hearn, but that's it. Like, I respect Fury massively for that, but I don't expect anything less from him when it comes to him as a person. He's probably a very kind soul.
Yeah, I near everyone that's ever actually met Fury, you know, not in a fighting term, has actually said he's a really nice bloke. So, as far as I'm concerned, I like him. The retirement and coming out of retirement, there's so many possible reasons for that.
Yeah.
Whether it's mental health, bipolar disorder,
mental health plays a massive part.
The bloke's not old.
No, mental health plays a massive part of Conor, because I think he's openly stated before that when he doesn't fight, he goes to a really dark place. Unfortunately, he's still able to fight because of his age. But I do pray to God, and I pray to him and his family that as he gets older, he finds something else that he enjoys doing.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want is, he doesn't need the money. Clearly, he's got money, Tyson Fury.
Oh yeah.
But you look at Mike Tyson at 59 years old. It was just distasteful seeing him box.
Yeah.
I don't want that for Fury, because I make the connection in that if I saw Fury do that, it tarnishes his record. Like that loss against Jake Paul for me has tarnished Mike Tyson's record. You don't want, or even worse, somebody gets hurt that doesn't need to get hurt. So, you know, I think we can enjoy Fury for a couple more years, but I think there's got to be a time where I hope that he finds inner peace.
I think we are approaching the end of Tyson Fury, and for a good reason as well. I think this really has to be his last stint in boxing. He's 38, 39 years old, which, look, there's champions that are older. Usyk is older. He's 37, sorry. So maybe, do you know what? Go for your life. But he's 37. He's had a lot of fights, had hard fights. He's got a lot going on up there, which we know about. I don't mind at 37 him coming back. Not a problem with that. And I think we spoke about this last week. I think it's a better look for Tyson to try again after losing to Usyk than to lose to Usyk twice and say, I'm done. I don't think that resonates with the Tyson Fury story very well. So I'm happy to see him back. Against Makhmudov, a lot of criticism for that fight.
I think from a fighting perspective, Makhmudov won't really move and Tyson Fury would dance around him. Tyson Fury should win. But good luck to him. I think it's worth mentioning, in spite of us talking about Tyson Fury and bipolar, it's very important to say, as we cover topics like that if anyone was affected by that segment, like, there's a few places that you can get help. You can talk to someone. I'll put them into the description. But I just thought I'd mention that because it's a very delicate subject, and we are not taking the piss out of anyone in the slightest. It's just an observation we make about Tyson Fury coming back, retiring, coming back, and what that does for his mental health long term. But I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So with Makhmudov, a lot of people were saying, well, some people are saying, who is that? That's, you know, a very casual comment.
Disrespectful, yeah.
But like I say, Makhmudov was favourite to beat Caballero when they fought. Caballero was just a lot better, and has since gone on to prove that he is better. Makhmudov's had a weird career since with injuries, but he is now finally sort of over that hill. Beat Dave Allen extremely comfortably. Yeah. Sadly, I don't want to say it, but he did. And he's earned himself this fight. I'm not mad at it for a comeback fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just had do you know this is old age here? I've just turned and had a shock in my back. I think it's ill. I think I'm ill as well. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm not mad at this fight. I'm not mad at this fight at all. I think Makhmudov's good enough that it should be kind of competitive. Yeah. But if Tyson's anywhere near what we've seen in the past, he should wipe the floor with him. Like, really should wipe the floor with him. But I'm happy Tyson's back. I will say, by the way, a Netflix card, Netflix ring card headlined by Tyson Fury Makhmudov needs a good undercard.
100%.
We've heard nothing about the undercard, but I need to see a good undercard.
I think Netflix will deliver that, though. I do. Like, I know Netflix have done predominantly MVP events, bar Canelo and Crawford. But I think Turkey's got involvement in it, innit?
Yeah, he does.
I think we will see a good undercard. I think we could see Adelaide on that undercard. He's been kind of unluckily dropped out of fights. I think if he's offered something more lucrative, it might make sense to put him on that show rather than the Queensbury show that's been, pushed back. But he'll also want to fight, so he might do both. There's a couple of guys that you could get on there. I don't know what Lawrence Ficoli's doing. You got to get a couple of heavyweights on there, but I think there should be household names. He's touted to fight Talman next, but I don't think that there has been any formal discussion, if I'm not mistaken. So, that in itself could be a main event, though, in Nigeria, so that's different. There's a lot of good fights you could put on there. Hamza Shiraz, maybe.
Well, that's the one I wanted you to bring up. I'm glad you said that. Hamza Shiraz has the choice right now at 168. Christian Billy was just elevated today to full WBC world champion. I don't know if it officially counts, but I have been saying for a while that I thought he would win a world title. So between him and Abdullah Mason, I'm 2 for 2. If you include everyone else, then I'm not, but who cares? So Christian Billy's WBC world champ. You got other guys in 168 who are nowhere near as strong world champ. So I'd like to see Hamza Shiraz,
100%,
Tyson Fury undercard, fighting for a world title.
100%.
Brit's on top at the moment, or near enough on top. So I like the idea that we keep building and keep adding world champions, which we could do this weekend with Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly fighting a bloke's name. I can never say it without reading it, so I'm going to have to...
That's another Makhmudov, isn't it?
Bakhram Murtazaliev. There we go.
Yeah.
Bakhram Murtazaliev.
I'm not massively impressed by him. I was watching some highlights of him, and I think he'll struggle against Josh Kelly because when he slows down in fights, his punch output is quite slow. It is consistent and aggressive, but Josh Kelly, I think, might damage him with his speed alone. I think he's one of the quickest boxers that this country's produced, Josh Kelly.
Yeah. Actually, that is a very good point. I'm not sure. I have a horrible feeling that from watching him against Tim Tszyu, and I don't know if Josh Kelly's better than Tim Tszyu or not. Hard to say because Tim Tszyu's a weird fighter. Josh Kelly's competition is also a little bit weird. But Bakhram Murtazaliev, unfortunately, I think we'll have Josh Kelly's number.
You think?
I really don't want him to, but I think he will.
You think that aggressive style he's got is going to break him down, almost like Beterbiev broke down Yard.
Yeah, a little bit. I think the power and timing. I think though, could well be the fight of the weekend. That because Kelly's not going to give up. We know Josh Kelly. I'm a big fan of Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly, both from a point of watching when he's dominating fight to a point of he's going to give it everything. Is a brilliant fighter, and Bakhram Murtazaliev is not afraid of just having a scrap. He will quite happily go 12 rounds and just trade leather until one of you drops. So, and by the way, near every time that's happened, Bakhram has come out on top. So, I say near every time. That has always happened. He's 23-0. I think it's too much for Josh Kelly, but I really like the idea he does go and win it because he's someone that we were speaking about years ago as Britain's next sort of poster boy, really. And then he kind of, I don't want to say fell off because he didn't. He's been having good fights since his loss to Avanesian, but he's been having them on the Channel 5, under Wasserman, under various promoters that just aren't, and this is in no way disrespectful, not trying to be, they're not the same size that Josh Kelly should be giving.
Mm.
It's not the same thing. So I really hope Josh Kelly can win this, but I'm not sure.
I understand why you say it's going to be a hard fight. I think it will probably will be fight of the weekend. If he does win, I'd still like to see him and Conor Benn at some point. But Conor Benn is also talking about a third fight with Eubank at super middleweight, which is a bit embarrassing, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to go into it in mad detail, Conor, because I know we've got a lot to talk about. But it's worth mentioning because Kelly and Conor Benn, that's been a feud that's kind of gone on for years, and not maybe a feud where they hate each other, but they were two big names to come out of Britain, and they were meant to fight a long time ago. And we just haven't seen the fight. I mean, that is another massive British fight.
That is a huge fight.
To put aside Adam Azim and Dalton Smith. But it leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth because from what I'm hearing, Eubank is not in the best of health. I think it's a bit disrespectful calling for a third fight when, by the sounds of it, I don't think Eubank is at full health. Regardless of what he may think of Eubank, we talk about that empathy in sport again. And, you know, the first fight, he nearly died afterwards. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And not to any fault of anyone. In terms of no one, I don't believe no one would stop him from going to hospital. But I think because of the dehydration, it properly done him. And then obviously the second fight, he didn't look himself. I wouldn't want to see a third fight. So I would favour, going back to my point, Josh Kelly and Conor Benn potentially.
Yeah, I like that fight as well. Conor Benn's been at super welter, 154. He's ranked there. A lot of people have issues with him coming to welterweight again after his two fights with Eubank being in a different division. So, I like that. I just have a very strong feeling. Do you know what? If Josh Kelly does win on Saturday, that fight could happen. Conor Benn could end up fighting him because that is a big fight. That is a fight that sells a lot of arenas. Kelly versus Conor Benn for a world title is a massive event in the UK. And on the undercard of the fight we have this weekend, I don't think, by the way, Conor Benn, and this is not to say scared, but he's not, but it's a big risk, and I don't think the payout would be massive compared to what he could get. I don't think Conor Benn would go anywhere near Bakhram Murtazaliev.
Essentially not, no. I think
it's a huge risk. I don't think the reward is there.
The winner of Barrios and Garcia is probably a bigger reward for him.
Yeah, massively.
Which makes sense because, you know, ideally you want Ryan Garcia to win that fight because commercially he'll get more money fighting Ryan Garcia than he will Barrios.
Yeah.
Again, Barrios is another champion that's kind of just holding the belt, but not. I don't think he's going to hold it for long. And commercially, we know Ryan Garcia is a streamer now as well. And it sounds stupid saying it, but he's very smart what he's doing to build his image because if anyone knows, streaming is probably one of the most top paid careers in the media space if you have the following. That's only going to build his fan base up for a fight. And he's an elite level fighter. So it's quite an interesting stance, but it's great for Conor Benn. I think they could do that fight in England as well. But I feel like if Ryan Garcia is a champion, you know, he's going to have rights to decide where it is.
Yeah, I
Conor
think
Benn has said that he'd go over to America and fight. But I don't know if that fight is like part of a bigger Saudi card. It's interesting to mention Saudi as well, Conor, because, you know, I'm seeing a lot of stuff recently and money has been lost on a lot of these shows.
Yeah, we criticise the UFC model a lot, as we should, right? In American sports, they're the lowest percentage-wise payout to their athletes or fighters, which makes it worse, of any of the major franchises. But
they profit.
The UFC is run in profit, responsibly as well, and it's run like a business, which is what it is. Boxing is complete other way. Majority of wages and a majority of profit is like goes to fighters, or majority of just net income goes to fighters.
Yeah,
and it should be that way. It should be that way. But now, and I do mean this in the most respectful way possible, but the difference between somebody who has £10 million and £100 million compared to someone that has £10 million compared to £10,000 is all that. It's a lot of money difference, but in terms of how they live and all this, is it that different? So boxing is now almost spoiling their fighters, which is why fighters say no to so many fights. Because the minute you give someone 100 million quid, or even tens of million, even, and then you're trying to get them back in the ring for a couple million doesn't look the same anymore. Because I know we say the UFC underpay. And by the way, I think 10-10 contracts are a disgrace. I don't like those. I think the fact that you can end up earning, well, if you fight 3 times in a year and win all 3 fights, which is unlikely, you're earning $60,000. Take off tax, take off the various other things. I don't know if that is worth it for a fighting career where you can get your head butchered. So I don't 100%. Like that. But the guys at the top of the UFC are actually earning significant money. And yes, it's not the same as boxing, but it means that they're still hungry. So it's a weird dynamic. I don't, but this is the issue with how Saudi have done it. They've spoiled fighters, and I by the way, I know fighters every day of the week should be taking those fights where they're getting paid.
Yeah, from a fighter's point of view, you take the fights 100%. Take advantage of it. Padley's a prime example. What he got paid to step in against Shakur.
Yeah, it's like absolutely
insane.
But if you think for a second that that's sustainable, then I'm sorry, but you need to go to school and learn about business. I've not been to school and learned about business. Or actually, do you know what? Go on YouTube and watch a 3-minute clip about it. And the first thing they'll tell you is, maybe don't pay people too much. But when you're hiring people, maybe don't just go, how much money do you want? Write it down and I'll just give it to you. Because they're running into issues now. And this is why I personally believe, this isn't fact, but this is why I believe we are seeing less events in Saudi Arabia. Because frankly, fighters don't, for all that, I'm sure the hospitality and the people and all of that are absolutely amazing in Saudi Arabia. And it sounds like they are. But would I rather fight in England where I've been training and where my fans are and my family? Or would I rather fly to Saudi and fight at stupid o'clock in the morning to cater for the fans back at home with an audience that, I'm sorry, but the audience and the crowds have been rubbish? Whether or not it's the cameras or the audio, but from watching on TV, I've never watched a Saudi event in Saudi, and gone, oh yeah, do you know what? The audience there looks mental. Whereas you put a fight, we know Lee Wood versus Josh Warrington, which just sold out, by the way, their rematch in Nottingham. We know that's mental. We'll be watching that on TV, mental. And you just hear it, you feel it.
Yeah, you can't replace that. You really can't.
No. So this is why I think events don't happen in Saudi as much anymore, because the fighters need more incentive that isn't monetary. So now it's a case of, right, we're not going to pay you as much, but you'll be fighting in the UK. I think that's why Tyson's fighting in the UK against Makhmudov. Because realistically, that's a fight that I think 2 years ago would be in the Middle East, in Saudi. Tyson Fury Makhmudov isn't. I don't think that's a Wembley fight.
No, no. But it's an arena fight.
Definitely,
because he'll sell an arena. He might even sell a stadium out, but we've got to remember the fights he done at Wembley Stadium, which I was at one of them. Dillian White, beats Tyson Fury, and I think that was that it, or was there another one?
I think Wembley wise, that is.
And at the time, that was a huge fight because Dillian White had been a mandatory for the WBC for like 300 days.
Yeah.
Wilder was dodging him. Everyone was saying this is a great win, and at the time, it is a great win for Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
If he was able to overcome it. The undercard was shocking, though.
Yeah, it was.
I remember that.
Fury, maybe they'll stick him in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but it's April, so I'm not. Look, they've not announced the venue. We don't have to worry too much about that. But this is the point I'm trying to make is, I think the fighters have got so much money now that that it's not that they're not hungry for fights and they don't want to fight. but there's not much incentive because most of these people, you got to remember where they've come from and what level of money they've grown up with. So when you're turning them into gazillionaires, and then you're asking them to take a dangerous fight where they could have lifelong injuries, they're looking at you going, yeah, you need to put a couple more zeros on that contract.
Put more effort into the cards, man. Because, like I said to you, the viewing figures to actually go to a fight in Saudi to what people watch around the world is not comparable. It doesn't compare.
No.
And also, what makes it hard is Saudi Arabia is not the cheapest place to go to if you want to have a fight. If you want to go watch a fight.
No. Traveling fans, it's not really that exciting. It's a long flight as well. Like, it's an expensive and long flight.
Boxing's a working class sport.
Yeah.
Johnny Fisher fought in Saudi Arabia.
Mm.
Predominantly, most of his fan base are from Romford, and a fair play to them because they went out there. That's a working class fan base, though.
Yeah.
Like,
think
what they pay to go and watch that fight. Flights, accommodation, hotel. Bring massive fighters back to Germany, man.
Yeah, Europe as well. I mean, we had Caballero there earlier. I like that. We've had Usyk in Poland against Dubois.
Dusseldorf, bring it back.
Dusseldorf, Tyson Fury, Dusseldorf. That would be cool.
Usyk in Dusseldorf would be mental, by the way.
Yeah, true. That would be mental. I think we're going to see that again because I don't see how the Saudi model works. I've said this for a while. I don't see how it works, but
yeah,
they have got the backing of a very rich country, so maybe they're all right.
Rich king, yeah.
But yeah, with Josh Kelly, it's a good undercard as well. We should say I'm excited for that. Josh Padley returns for a European title. Elif Nurtahan, who we've both raved about after she beat Beatriz Ferreira. I mean, I've seen a female fighter as aggressive and hit as hard as Elif Nurtahan.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
Louise actually had to find like a bit of sparring for her when she come over to England.
Oh God.
And he raves about her the same way we do.
Yeah.
You gotta remember what she went and done to a good sort of Olympian Irish champion that she fought. I think it was in Belfast. Mashed her up. Come over to England, mashed them up. Do you know what I like about her? Yeah, there's not many people I look at and they have no fear in their eyes.
Yeah.
There's not one speck of fear in her eyes. That's like you punch her, she goes, hit me harder.
Yeah.
Like you can't fight someone like that. She will be this new gen of a world champion. She's so aggressive.
She's scary, man. She's
scary and she's got power as well. And I mean, look what she done to the fight in her last fight. Who is no mug, by the way.
Beatriz Ferreira, I never saw her losing, unless it was like a special fight like Caroline Dubois. But Elif Nurtahan wiped the floor with it. Like, but yeah, she's back. So is Leo Tang, another one where you can expect a knockout. And Leo Tang is in all fairness, not a great fight.
So that's two. Hopefully, we have for next week.
Yes, I mean we better have to.
We're dying for it. Dying for it. We are, man. We're dying for knockouts.
We are. But
January has been.
It's been a bit dry.
Quite a terrible month, and to top it off, we're both extremely ill doing this, and that just sums up January.
Yeah.
Get me to February or end of January actually, because Boxer have got their card as well on the weekend.
I was going to say we have the disappointment of Moses Atalma. Obviously, should have been this weekend against Jermaine Franklin. Event moved to March. I'm okay with the movement. At least they've moved the event, right? But in a better way, Adam Azim had to pull out very late. So did his opponent, both injured, which means in a nice way of doing things, Boxer have kept the event, as you kind of expect they would, because it's a one-year contract with the BBC. They're not going to, they can't really piss about with the events too much. Not to say that's what Queensbury have done, but Boxer can't move things. They really
Queensbury can afford to do it. Boxer can't.
Yeah. So, but swings and roundabouts. Adam Azim's not fighting, bit of a shame. Potentially, he'll just go straight into a Dalton Smith fight.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but potentially. But it means that we've got Francesca Hennessy, who we've been complaining about in terms of where she's been on undercards for a little while now, saying she should be higher, and she should be. But she is now co-main, joint main, with Gradus Kraus, Boxer's newest signing. And they will headline together in separate fights. Obviously, they're not fighting each other, but they're headlining together on BBC this weekend. In what is, by the way, still a pretty good card, in all fairness.
Take advantage of the opportunities you've been given, man.
Exactly.
And that is what, Fran will look to do and Gratis will look to do as well. Especially because I think this is his debut on Boxer as well.
It is, yeah.
But baptism of fire for him, really. But I know Francesca Hennessy's been asking this for a long time. Not directly. You know what it is? She's too polite. And she's very reasonable. But I know that kind of the feelings have been that this has to happen soon or late, sooner rather than later. And I'm glad it's happened on this show. She's got massive fights ahead of her. When she comes out with a victory, or should she come out with a victory on the weekend? Don't know a massive amount in terms of, I know sort of her opponent is tough, kind of fights out of, by the looks of it, China as well, which is mad. I was watching a little segment on her earlier on.
Yeah.
Fluent in Chinese. She's from England.
Yeah. So it's a I don't want to say weird career, but it is a little bit of a weird career because you have got a girl, Ellie Botel from Nottingham, who has fought exclusively in Asia, majority of which have been in China, like you say. The level of opponents she's fought, it's very hard to say if they're good. So whilst she is 7-0 with the draw, but the draw was her debut, so almost discount that. And she's never fought someone with a losing record. The people she has fought, this is the same thing that does happen when we do see some fighters from particularly Asia, but also African fighters as well, and European, basically anywhere, but especially we see it in Asia, where they'll have quite a padded record because they fight very frequently.
Yeah.
Meaning that it might look... The best example, Sam Noakes fought a load of Indian fighters in the start of his career, most of which had winning records and were up to some extent undefeated, 12-0, 11-0, and Sam Noakes was going in there and knocking them out in a round or two. And it's because when you look at who they're fighting, they had almost 10 fights in about 2 years, and they fought blokes that had all made their debuts and stuff. Now, Ellie Botel's not quite done that, but
I think experience comes though, doesn't it? Like, she's got the experience, and it's another experienced opponent for Fran to fight. And I think I'll be really interested to see how she plans to come out and get the job done. And I'm really looking forward to watching Gratis as well.
Same. I was about to mention, I'm very excited to see Fran because I feel like she will do what she kind of always does. I think, well, it's a difficult fight she's in. I think it's very winnable for her, and I think she'll. And when I say winnable, I don't mean as in it's easy. I think it's winnable because I think she's got the ability to do it, and we know if she does win, she should be mandatory. It doesn't always mean what it should, but she should be mandatory for Chernica Johnson's WBC title, which is a massive fight.
And then she's got two massive fights afterwards as well. Shannon Courtney potentially. But I think the fight will be bigger if she wins a world title.
I think she's outgrowing Shannon Courtney, by the way.
Maybe, but I mean, she's still a big
I still like
female.
the fight.
It's still a good fight with experience on your record, though. And Ebony Bridges, but Ebony Bridges lost recently, obviously, but she's been out of the ring for a while. Yeah. She's had a baby and stuff like that. So I don't think we can look too much into that return because I think it's probably, for a woman, the hardest thing to perform at elite level, have a baby, come back and expect to be where you left after a year and a half, probably longer.
Exactly.
So,
and she did come back maybe a little early. We have spoke about that, and she spoke about that as well.
Yeah.
Potentially it was, but yeah. So Fran's in a big fight, potentially puts her in line for Chenika Johnson's WBC world title, which is mental to do in 9 fights. It does happen quicker in women's boxing, but you got to remember this is a 21-year-old fighter in Fran Hennessy. So we're not talking 30-year-old who's had like not thousands, but a load of amateur experience and all. We're talking Fran's still new to the game, really. And yet you wouldn't know it watching her. And then, as you mentioned, Gradus Kraus has to be good. We know he is good, in fairness. We know he is a good fighter. Again, he's young, good record, 9-0, 8 knockouts, some good wins in there as well. Nothing, I would say, that is notable in terms of a name that anybody that would anyone that I could say and we'd all know. But he's 9 fights in. He's won a European title, not the EBU, the IBF Europeans. Not quite as good, but it's still a European title. And I think boxer really needs someone who can come in and just give highlights, because they lost Whittaker.
Yeah.
They've lost quite a lot. Let's see, if we're honest.
They lost Buatsi for the short time they had him.
Vidal Riley's gone. Ben Whittaker's the big one.
Dan Aziz?
Dan Aziz, yeah, they did have him briefly. They did have Anthony Yard for 1 fight. I mean, that was a bit weird. Whether or not they actually ever had him, I'm not sure, but they did promote him for a fight. They're very weird, in a weird place right now. The fact they've signed someone is promising. That's good. I'm happy to see that. I'm just hoping that Gradus Kraus is a serious fighter.
Yeah.
Which clearly he is, but we'll see. He's in quite an easy fight on the weekend. It's his easiest fight for a little while, on paper. It's a bloke that's been knocked out 3 times already. So I'm expecting a good win for Gradus Kraus. A good win. And we hope for Ben Shalom and Boxer that he does get that. That would be a big moment for them on the weekend. And then Hassan Azim is returning. Archie Sharp's there. Joel Kaduya's there.
Yeah.
Joel Kaduya's a good one to watch. Obviously part of Tunde's team along with Anthony Yard. And then just some other sort of we've got a debut. We've got Sadiq Mahmoud making his 2nd appearance. There's some good fight. It's a good event for what it is. It's a good event. Obviously, had Adam Azim been top of the bill, you would have called. I honestly would have said that's the 2nd best event of the weekend. But the fact that Adam's not there, I'm glad they kept it on. I still think it's got a good weight to it, this card.
100%.
I will say, unfortunately for them, they don't have the ring backing for this weekend. This is a real underrated card. Teófimo versus Shakur main event.
Yeah.
Carlos Adames, Austin Williams, WBC World Middleweight title.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Davis, Jermaine Ortiz. No world title, but come on, it's Keyshawn Davis. And
Crazy.
Jermaine Ortiz ain't no bum. Bruce Carrington versus Carlos Castro for WBC World Featherweight title. And then you've got Zayed Almayef, who I believe is featured a couple times on a couple of the Saudi cards. But more interestingly, with respect, Jarrell Miller returns fighting Kingsley Ibe in a pretty decent fight. Jarrell Miller's first fight back since Andy Ruiz back in 2024. So a year and a half out, but he is back. What a card. What a card.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really looking forward to catching up with that one. It's going to be... It's a boxer's card, isn't it? Like it's a boxing fan's card.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. Maybe not one so much for the casuals, but one for the boxing fans.
I think, like, Teófimo Shakur, honestly, I think Shakur's just going to wipe the floor with them. I think Shakur is just that special. But Teófimo is incredible as well. So like that wouldn't surprise me too much if Teo did do something pretty special. But from what I've seen, nobody's going to touch Shakur. Especially at that 130 pounds to sort of 140 in that sort of area. In that area, I don't think anyone's touching Shakur.
I think he
Carlos
dominates
Adama,
Teo.
You think he does? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see Shakur go 25-0, pick up another weight division.
I think Shakur is on another level.
Yeah.
And I haven't really got much else to say about that, but I think he's on another level. And I think the fights speak for themselves. The persona that he carries speaks for himself. His boxing ability speaks for itself. Like, I think, and then they speak about obviously making Conor Benn and Shakur, which is mental because I don't think Conor Benn gets near Shakur.
No,
and I'm saying that is the ability that he carries going into this Teo fight. Teo can turn it on though.
Teo's a special fighter as well, so that's why this is so good. I mean, by the way, where does the winner of this end up pound for pound? Because okay, Crawford's not in the equation, so it's Usyk and Inoue at the top. Bivens obviously got a right to being third, or at least in that top 5. Does Shakur or Teo? Do they go number 3, number 4? They've got to be top 5 pound for pound,
potentially,
right?
Potentially, yeah.
I don't think it takes them above Usyk or Inoue.
No chance.
But
I think
Shakur's closing in.
Inouye's too active, man. Like the problem is,
Shakur
won't fight like Inoue. Inoue will fight 4 times a year.
Yeah, he'll do that every year till he's retired. That's
why I play high all the time.
He's a joke, but he's brilliant. God, I love him. And look, we've got Carlos Adama, Austin Williams. That's a bit more of a firefight.
100%.
Adama hits hard. Austin Ammo Williams hits relatively hard. I think
Austin Ammo Williams will be looking to make a statement. Obviously, his career's kind of been up and down since we saw him in Saudi. He was on one of the
Hamza really hurt him in that fight, and he, unfortunately, what was meant to be a 50-50 fight, Hamza Shiraz made look. He made it out to be just something really simple, really easy. He's then gone on to pick up 3 wins, Austin Williams, but they're not the best. They're not the best. But he's won them. He won 2 by knockout, so you can't be too annoyed. Carlos Adama obviously also shares the opponent of Hamza Shiraz, where they drew after that, which was a bit controversial. In all fairness, I think Carlos Adama's won it, but Shiraz broke his hand, so read into it what you will. Keyshawn Davis is back versus Jermaine Ortiz at super lightweight. He has moved up. He has had to move up because we all know what happened. He missed weight the last time, and that's where he got stripped.
Missed weight, struggled, so he moved up.
Yeah. And then Bruce Carrington, who is staying at featherweight and waiting for Noah Inoue or Nick Bull. He wants one of the 2 of them. He's been very vocal about that.
Big fights for him, though, man.
He's fighting Carlos Castro, who weird fighter, not fought since 2024, has lost to the real elites in Figueroa, Bolton in his last fight, and a name that I can't remember, but he's sort of fringe level world title. Bruce Carrington should put him away. It should be quite easy. It should be comfortable.
I think he'll just use this to win, call out who he needs to call out for the next fight. I think that's probably the way the promoter's looking at it. Just put him in there with somebody who's okay, but he'll win.
Yeah. I want to see him versus Nick Bull. I think that's the best fight at featherweight, personally.
I think it's the most realistic fight. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I say best fight. I mean to watch. Because I also
think it's probably the most realistic fight in circumstances. So
yeah, true. I don't think anyone's going to touch Espinoza. It's a name we don't, but people seem to forget about a little bit. But Rafael Espinoza is an absolute joke of a fighter.
Yeah,
and he's honestly, if you haven't seen him, just stick like a 5-minute knockout compilation of him up because
Yeah.
Unreal. But and then Jarrell Miller, who I'll be completely honest, it's not a fight I care about. No, but I don't mind watching Jarrell Miller. He's not a bad fighter to watch. So I'm okay. But as cards go, that's a good card. That's a
nice. It is a good card. We've been missing this in January, man. So it's a massive card. I think when it got announced, I looked at the fights and I just said to myself, yeah, this is going to be a huge card, providing no one drops out. So yeah,
all we need, and I do say this with just a lot of hope, is at least one knockout, man, on a good quality camera, please, because I can't tell you how much time I've spent in the last 2 weeks looking for them. Go on BoxRec, by the way, people. If that, you don't have to believe me. Go on BoxRec and search between the 26th and the 12th of January. Just have a look at how many knockouts there have been, and if you can find one that's more than 2 pixels, please let me know, and I'll apologise because I've clearly done a bad job. But yeah, that's boxing this week. No, it's not. Barrios Garcia full card announced. We're not going to talk about too much because it's not till February anyway. But Richardson Hitchens returns defending his world title against Oscar Duarte. Gary Antoine Russell versus Andy Hiroka. Andy Hiroka, by the way, joke of a fighter. Frank Martin returns at junior welterweight, 140 pounds, against Nahir Albright, and Bektimir Malikziev fights Sena Agbeko. Bektimir, I don't want to be wrong about this.
He's butchered it, man. He's butchered it.
No. I think I feel like I've done his all right. Bektimir, yeah, he's one of these. He's one of the Uzbekistani fighters who is a little bit of a joke in who he's been fighting in his 17 fights, although he has lost. But he's a serious fighter, one to look out for. So that's an incredible card for the undercard of an already pretty great fight between Garcia and Barrios. But
Garcia should win.
We will speak about that more in the future. Like, that's boxing this week. I am on the back end of illness, and Paolo is very much in the middle of it. So I'm going to say I'm pretty proud that we've done this tonight. But yeah, that's boxing this week. Tyson Fury's back. We've got big events. We've got huge fights. Whether or not we're live depends on whether or not we are alive on Saturday. Hopefully we will be. But it just depends. And then, yeah, please like, subscribe. You've seen it. Amazon gift card giveaway. We're kind of close now, but yeah, just subscribe. We're doing our best. Like, share. Oh, follow the Instagram. We will now be posting the news as it comes out on Instagram, and then that's sort of what we're going to be talking about in the show. So if you want an exclusive, if you want to know about what's going on before it happens and before Thursday, Instagram's the place for it.
And we can post it on TikTok as well, won't it?
And TikTok, of course. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so follow us everywhere. Why not? We post good stuff. Right. Paolo, anything you want to say to the lovely people at home?
Just have a great weekend. That's all I say. The energy is low vibrations today, but what I will say, go and subscribe. Or I'll put a judge on you to get flu like this.
Lovely.